Hello, friends. This is Confessions with Amy. Here we share new confessions every day.
I smelled the smoke before I saw the flames. It was faint at first, sweet, chemical, wrong. Not like a candle, not like perfume. I turned my head toward the walk-in closet, where my dress hung just moments ago, pristine and untouched, waiting for me to step into it and start the next chapter of my life. Then I saw it, a curl of gray licking the air, too fast, too unnatural. My heart stuttered. I ran. By the time I got there, the tulle was melting. The satin was curling like dead petals. The lace, my mother's lace, crumbled into black threads in the air. I screamed. Loud. Sharp. But the house stayed silent, as if it was holding its breath. That was my wedding dress. And someone had set it on fire. Her name is Marigold. Marigold Wren Caraway. And I should have known from the first moment I met her that she didn't smile with her eyes. She was charming in the way that Southern women are taught to be. Bless your heart, sugar pie, you just sit down now and let me handle things. But beneath her lipstick and lacquered nails, she was a controller. A slow poison. The kind that says, dear, while digging a knife between your ribs. Still, I didn't expect this. Arson. On my wedding day. What kind of mother does that? 3 hours earlier, she brought me coffee. Said it was her version of a peace offering. We'd argued the night before, nothing nuclear, just her snide little comments about how my family was different, how people like us don't usually marry people like you. I was born in Phoenix. My father owns a small mechanic shop. Her son, Nolan, was a trust fund baby from Charleston who couldn't change a tire if it meant saving his life. She said the coffee would smooth everything over. It was lukewarm. Bitter. But I smiled and drank half of it anyway, too polite to refuse, too tired to fight. She watched me the whole time. I found out later she'd splashed acetone on the hem of the dress when I wasn't looking. Said she spilled something. Lit a stupid prayer candle near it. Accident, she claimed, God's honest truth. But there were no prayers in her eyes when I walked out of that burning room and saw her standing in the hallway. There was only relief. Cold. Brief. Before she realized her son was watching from behind me. He didn't rush to me. Didn't even touch me. He just stared, at the smoke, at his mother, at the mess of it all, and said quietly, Mom, what the hell did you do? That was it. That was all I got. And that was the moment I knew Nolan Caraway was not the man I thought I was marrying. The thing about lies is, they rarely come alone. They travel in packs. They multiply in shadows. And the moment I saw Nolan look at his mother like a scared little boy, not like a man watching his fiancée's wedding dress burn to ash, I realized I hadn't just been lied to. I had been living a lie. Back in the guest room, someone handed me a blanket. I didn't register who. My skin was still trembling, the smoke still crawling up the walls of my lungs. I should have been crying. Panicking. Screaming. Instead, I went cold. Quiet. Detached. I stared at the burn marks on the carpet and thought, there's no way this was just about me. No one destroys a dress out of pure spite. Not unless there's something else at stake. And God, was there ever? I didn't confront Nolan right away. I waited. Waited for him to check on me. To say the words every decent man should have said. But he didn't. He sat outside with his head in his hands, muttering to himself like a coward caught in a trap of his own making. And when I finally asked, why are you not furious with her, he flinched like I'd slapped him. She didn't mean to, he said. You don't know her like I do. She's just stressed. The wedding, the money. What money, Nolan? That's when it all unraveled. He'd taken out loans in her name. used her trust fund as collateral, lied about it, gambled it away trying to keep up with the image she'd built for him. Fancy suits, a sleek car he couldn't afford, dinners at rooftop bars in Manhattan. All while telling me he was just waiting on a promotion. She bailed me out last year, he confessed. Twice. I owe her more than you know. If she left me, I'd drown. I just stared at him. The man I was supposed to marry. The man who couldn't stand up to his mother because he was owned by her. That's what the dress was about. Not me. Control. Marigold didn't want a daughter-in-law. She wanted a dependent. And Nolan was already hers. When I stood up and said, "This wedding is off," he didn't fight me. Not really. He just said, "Please don't do this today. Not like this." I almost laughed. Not like this. My dress had literally been set on fire. And he wanted me to wait for a better moment to leave. I walked out barefoot. No makeup. Hair undone. Just a blanket over my shoulders and fury in my veins. I left everything behind. The venue. The guests. The lie of a future I almost tied myself to. And I never looked back. The story spread faster than the fire did. By the time I got back to my apartment in Savannah, my phone was vibrating non-stop. Missed calls. Voicemails. A few texts from people I hadn't spoken to since college. Most of them said the same thing. "Are you okay? Did she really set your dress on fire? Please tell me this isn't true." The thing about Southern society, especially moneyed Southern society, is that it feeds on scandal. Especially when it's one of their own. Marigold had built an image over decades. Polished, pristine, oh so charitable. She chaired galas, funded scholarships, had lunch with judges and donated to animal shelters. And now, she was the woman who tried to sabotage her son's wedding by committing arson. Oops. I didn't say a word publicly. Not yet. I didn't have to. The rumors did all the heavy lifting for me. The wedding guests saw enough. The firefighters had statements. Someone's cousin posted about it on Reddit. Within 72 hours, mother of the groom burns bride's dress was trending in 3 wedding forums and on a lifestyle blog that gleefully called it the Southern Scorched Earth Saga. Nolan sent me a text 3 days later. She wants to apologize. I didn't reply. 20 minutes later, I got a voice memo from her. Marigold Caraway. Her voice like honey laced with vinegar. "Sloan, darling. I made a terrible mistake. I was under immense stress, and you have to understand, I only ever wanted what was best for my son. I lost myself in the moment. I'm so ashamed. Please, let's not ruin your future over one emotional lapse. No apology. Just excuses. Just the kind of spin someone uses to save their reputation, not to seek redemption. But here's the part no one expected. I didn't want revenge. I wanted freedom. For the first time in 2 years, I wasn't tiptoeing around her cryptic insults or Nolan's financial anxiety or the suffocating weight of their family expectations. I was alone. And it was glorious. I took a job offer I'd declined before the engagement, a marketing role at a startup in Asheville. Packed up my things in one weekend. Left behind the bridal shower gifts, the Mrs. Caraway mugs, the Pinterest board full of lies. I dyed my hair darker. Got rid of every ivory dress in my closet. Started running again. Not away. Forward. A month later, Marigold tried to sue me. For emotional distress. It didn't go far. The court threw it out before it even touched a hearing. But it told me everything I needed to know. She hadn't learned a thing. And Nolan? He never reached out again after that. Not once. Which, honestly, was the kindest thing he ever did for me. I didn't mean for it to go viral. It started as a journal entry. Therapy homework. My therapist, Grace, soft-spoken but steel-spined, told me to write it all out, just for yourself. I did. Then, a week later, during a slow Sunday morning with too much coffee and not enough closure, I opened my laptop, cleaned it up a bit, and posted the story anonymously on Medium. No names. No states. Just the truth. By Monday morning, 70,000 people had read it. They called it "The Wedding That Went Up in Flames." Someone on TikTok did a dramatic reading. A fashion influencer tweeted, "The mother-in-law from hell tried to literally burn her future daughter-in-law's dress." Imagine being that fragile. I got hundreds of messages. Women from all over, Nevada, Germany, New Zealand, writing me about their own nightmare in-laws. About cowardly fiancés. About finding themselves in the ashes. It was wild. Unbelievable. And somehow, comforting. For the first time, I didn't feel stupid for what I didn't see. I didn't feel weak for walking away. I felt seen. Respected. Empowered. The owner of a boutique branding agency in Denver read the post and emailed me personally. "You've got fire in your voice. Ever thought about helping brands tell stories like that?" 2 Zoom calls later, I had a freelance contract. 3 months later, I had 10 clients and a waitlist. I started my own consultancy, Ember, branding for women-led startups who weren't afraid to rattle cages. Logo, a single coal, still glowing. Tagline, "Let them burn. We'll build better." People loved it. Every time someone asked about the name, I just smiled and said, "It's personal." Meanwhile, Marigold did what people like her always do, she rebranded herself. Told friends she had a mental health crisis. Claimed I exaggerated. Said she'd always loved me like a daughter. But the thing is, Charleston society might be slow to react, but it doesn't forget. Her invitations started drying up. Her charity board gently suggested a sabbatical. She even tried to launch a podcast about elegant living. It got 5 one-star reviews and was quietly deleted 2 weeks later. Nolan moved to Atlanta. Works at a mortgage company now. Looks tired in his LinkedIn photo. I felt nothing. No hate. No satisfaction. Just peace. But the moment I knew I had really changed, it was when I walked past a bridal shop one evening, a year to the day after the fire. The mannequins wore white silk and glittering veils. I didn't feel panic. I didn't flinch. I just smiled at the reflection of the woman I'd become, unmarried, unbroken, and unstoppable. Dear Marigold, you won't read this. But I need to write it. Not for you. For me. Because for months, your name tasted like rust in my mouth. I carried the weight of your cruelty like it was mine to explain. I rehearsed things I never said. I imagined confrontations that never happened. And I let anger eat through my calm like acid on silk. But now, I've turned that anger into something better. Something mine. You once told me, over brunch, that I'd never understand the pressure of legacy. That I'd been raised without refinement. That I was spirited, but not sophisticated. You smiled while you said it. Like a compliment dipped in poison. But here's the thing. I don't want refinement. I want freedom. And I have it now. Without your name. Without your son. Without a ring or a ceremony or a family built on debt and denial. You tried to control me by controlling him. And when that didn't work, you tried to destroy me directly. But all you did was give me clarity. The fire you started, it didn't end me. It introduced me to myself. I wish I could say I forgive you. But I don't. I don't need to. Because forgiveness requires remorse. And you're not sorry you hurt me, you're sorry people found out. You didn't lose a daughter-in-law. You lost access. To me. To my life. To my future. I'm writing this from a window seat in Copenhagen. I came here to speak at a women's leadership summit. 3 years ago, I was Googling how to start an LLC in my bathrobe. Now, I mentor women who once thought they'd lost everything. Funny how life reroutes you when you finally burn the old map. So no, this letter isn't for you. It's for the girl in the mirror that morning. The one who watched her dress go up in flames and thought her world was ending. It wasn't ending. It was just beginning. Sincerely, Sloane Everly.